Having a child is expensive. From the day that that child enters into the world, the tab is already tallying up. From the hospital stay, to childcare, to education, to extracurricular activities, to clothes, to shoes, to just the bare necessities of a child, of raising a child, it costs a lot. Studies show that the average middle-aged income family with 2 children will spend $310,605 to raise a child born in 2015. So besties, in today's video, I want to talk about budgeting and children. Sometimes we're raising our own children. We're raising children that don't belong to us. So if that is something that you are here for, let's go ahead and talk about it. If you are new to my channel and you're here for the very first time, my name is Jasmine, aka Budget Treasures, and here on my channel I talk about all things finance with the emphasis on budgeting, saving money, and paying off debt. If this is the kind of content that you are interested in and you love, please go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you know anytime I upload a new video. And if you are a returning bestie, hey girl, hey, I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this video, and I am so excited to talk about it, right? Because this is a very important topic. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming back and showing some love. Make sure that you guys give this video a thumbs up. I never say that in my videos, but it's very important because it lets YouTube know that we over here doing a thing. It's a collective community of us. So give this video a thumbs up as well. So as I explained, we are going to be talking about money and them kids, okay? And I believe that this is applicable to a lot of people. There are various different scenarios, right? You have single parents, you have 2-parent homes, you have families where there's a lot of support, you have families where there's no support. There's just a lot of different scenarios. I myself am a single mother, and I have financially been responsible for my child since she was brought into this world, and I did not receive child support. That would be a lie. I probably received a couple payments, but for the most part, I paid everything for her and I did not get any assistance. And so I made it work. My daughter is 21 years old now. And so it never stops. We think that it stops at 18. Honey, it just gets I don't even think that the cost gets more, like the things that they need. I think even as a young child, there are certain things that it's a lot. So I just want to talk about it. I'm going to break it down in categories, right, on what we're going to be talking about. I wrote myself some notes. So I'm going to address 4 topics in this video. I'm going to address saving, spending, debt, and investing for your child from the time that they are born. It is important to know that every situation is different. Every household is different. Every child is different. Every parenting style is different. But I'm just giving some overall general best practices that I know to have worked and been very beneficial to most kids. So get your pen, get your paper, and definitely throw in the chat some things that you have found to work as well if you don't hear it in this video, because we are a community where we are looking to help one another. First, let me give you some general best practices. It is best to have a plan. From the time that your child is born, creating a financial plan for them will be very important because it'll let you know how much money it is that you need to make in order to make these plans come about. So you want to have a plan for your child. You want to have a budget. You want to include them in your budget so that they're not left out. You're not finding out, oh, I have to pay for this sport or that sport and it wasn't in the budget. So then you're taking money from your bills to be able to pay for that sport. So include your children in your budget. That's going to be very key and very important. Utilize friends and family. If you have friends or family members who are able to help curb some of that cost, you want to utilize them and you want to accept that help. Please do not be prideful and
say, I could do this by myself. I don't need nobody to help me.
Like, allow your friends and family to help because you are going to need it and appreciate it. Let's talk about your income. If you do not make enough money to care for your child, their basic needs and necessities, it's important that you seek out ways to make more money. That is finding another job that's going to pay you more. That is picking up a side hustle. That's looking at ways to save money on certain necessities that the child needs. But you are going to need to increase your income, bottom line, point blank, and the period. We have to make more money in order to help our situations out with being able to afford the things that we need and want for our kids, because it's not only about what they need but also what they want. Utilize child support if you do get child support. I explained earlier that unfortunately that wasn't my story, but if you do receive child support, definitely utilize that for housing, for food, for extracurricular activities, healthcare, all of those things that really cost that we don't count up the cost for when we're having children. Some of us do, some of us don't. Like, I was young, I was 19 when I had my daughter, and I didn't think about childcare, food, extracurricular activities, like all of those things I didn't think about, and it's very expensive gas to take them to all these places, right? So make sure you're utilizing any type of financial support that you do get in order to take care of your kid or kids. Savings. From the time that your child is born, if you can set up a savings account for them, maybe like an high yield savings account, I would recommend that you 100% start saving money for them. You're going to save that money for various different reasons. An example would be saving for college. So you want to save for their future. I would incorporate sinking funds for your children. And an example of what some of those sinking funds could be: clothes, shoes, education, tutoring. I would have a sinking fund to save for those necessities. So whatever it is that your child does, it could even be for healthcare costs, different things like that, but have sinking funds for your kids. Make sure you are on a quest to save money on the different things that we have to spend money for our children. So that's clothes. Make sure you're catching deals and sales and as much as you possibly can. Saving on early registration. When you have your kids in different sports or schools and things like that, you can save money by registering early. If there are any type of financial aid opportunities for maybe like a private school that you have your kids in, take advantage of those things. So if you have any other suggestions in regards to savings, go ahead and put them down in the comments. Spending. We have to spend money on our kids all the time, right? It's always something, right? We got to spend money on education for some schools. But even now at school, back when I grew up and when my daughter, no, I think it was when she grew up too, but now they're telling you at the classroom that they need paper, printer paper, toilet paper, paper towels, Kleenex, like they need so much that you have to spend money on. Just them breathing, you got to spend money, right? So when you are spending, have that plan. Make sure that you're putting all of that spending in your budget. It will be an eye-opener because it will let you know if you can truly afford some of these things. Put it in the budget. Have a spending plan. Your budget is your spending plan, so that you can be able to spend money on your kids and not feel the burden or not feel like a financial burden on spending money for them. If you have any spending tactics or best practices, leave them down in the comments. Let's talk about debt. You may be wondering, debt, what kind of debt could the kid be in their child? They're 18 years and under. What I want to talk about is how to prepare your child for good credit. not necessarily debt, but I guess I probably should have said credit. However, the first thing I want to say is do not put anything in your kid's name. I don't know why I feel like I need to say that. But don't put the phone bill in your kid's name. Please don't put credit cards and stuff in your kid's name and then like please don't be that person. I doubt that I have anybody. But if you have some friends or cousins or somebody who does it, tell them don't do it. So when your child is about 16, 17, 18 years old, I would recommend that you start to set them up for good credit. I'm going to talk about how I was able to get my daughter a good credit history score, whatever you want to call it, before she turned 18 years old. So listen up. My mother got a secured card for her. We had to put up $500 for the secured card before she turned 18. First, what she tried to do was put her on her credit cards so that she could assume her credit score. However, she was finding it difficult to do that, so she just opened up a secured card. It was $500. She managed the card. So she used the card, and then the card became unsecured after a certain amount of time. Then once she turned 18, she then went and got a major bank credit card. So she's using the credit card, using it, paying it, using it, paying it, using it, paying it, so that by the time she was 18, she already had a good credit score. So there's also something else that I am going to talk about when we get into the next category. However, that is a way that you can set your child up for good credit before they even turn 18. I would start at probably 17 and then start getting it going so that they will have credit as soon as they hit 18. Now let's talk about investing. So I'm going to break this up in two parts: investing financially and then investing educationally. If you can, when you can, as soon as your kid is born or any time during their life, start an investment account for them. This is something that I wish I would have done. I would recommend you starting some type of college fund for them or some type of investment that you are saving for over the course of 18 years. So by the time they turn 18, they will have a lump sum of money on that. I'm not an expert in that area, so please make sure that you go do your due diligence and do your research and find what investments are there out there that you can have for your child. Also, once they turn 18, a good thing to research and do, which I am gonna do myself, is to see what investment can we open that will help them towards retirement. If we know better, then we can do better. So even though our child may not understand the importance of retirement because we understand it, if we start investing for them now, once they are 40 or whatever age, then they'll turn back and like, thank you. I have like all this money because I started and I understood investing at a young age. So you can invest for your child at whatever point, but it is important to make sure that you are investing for your child. Now let's talk about investing educationally. Make sure that you are talking to your kids about money. In the African American household, my household, maybe I'll just talk about mine specifically, money was not a topic of conversation. It was kind of like taboo. So we want to get to the point where we're talking about money all the time, that we're being very open with our children. And as we're talking about other things that are important, then we're also talking about finances and how important it is to make sure that you're managing your money responsibly and you're not just going out and spending, but you're teaching them at a young age. And you can do different exercises and teaching them about money and walking them through what it is to pay bills and give them an allowance and maybe even give them bills, and so that they know, so by the time they turn 18, it's not like a shock to them. They've already been talking about money. Talk to them about their credit. Talk to them about how important it is to have a good credit score and how important it is to own property and different things like that. That is the one thing that I did talk to my daughter heavily about when it came to her credit. I talked to her about the dangers of not having good credit and the good things about having good credit. I talked to her about not co-signing for her friends, because you already know me, when I was 18, we was trying to use our friends' credit. And, you know, unless they said no, we was going to have them co-signing on cars for us and everything. So I talked to her openly about that. She manages her money well now because those were conversations that I had with her. She saw me budgeting. She sees me budgeting. She sees me saving money for the future. She sees me buying a house. Like, she's seeing all of these things, and I'm bringing her in, you know, the process as I'm doing it. So it's very important that you invest financially, but then you also invest educationally. Have that conversation with your child, whether they understand it or not. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. You have to manage your money right. You have to be a good manager of your money in order to do good for your kids. At the end of the day, if you do not manage your money correctly, right, budget, all these good things, you cannot do it for your children. You're always going to be at a deficit. So you have to do it for you first before you can do it for your children. And that was my story. I was always at a place of lack because in my mind, I thought as long as I just buy her everything she needs and wants and has this facade, I'ma be all right. But I wasn't all right because I was buying her everything and then I was late on my bills. I was just not managing responsibly. And we're doing our kids a disservice when all we're doing is throwing money at them, and we're not really investing in them and investing in their future properly in the right way, and we're not showing them how to manage their money for when they are old enough. So before we can do all of these things that I just talked about properly for our kids, we have to work on ourselves first, or we will always be at a place of lack. And we will just be in this rat race and, you know, the wheel or whatever they call it, because we haven't done our part first. So I want to leave you with that, bestie. You have to do better. Change your mindset and you will change your life. I hope this video was so helpful. If you guys have any other suggestions or anything, let's help the community out. Put them down in the comments, and I will see you besties in the next video. Go be great. Peace out.